Hey guys, welcome back. So I thought I'd shoot a post-pregnancy vlog for you. I've had so many people asking me all sorts of questions about my pregnancy and the journey. So yeah, I thought I'd answer them for you in this vlog. So, oh my god, my battery died.
Get a charger.
Yeah.
My battery died and I've got all the questions on my phone, so.
Bing!
I want it back
Thanks,
soon.
Nikki. So the first question I've been asked is, did I wear a waist trainer after I gave birth? Okay, no I didn't, but what I did use were post-pregnancy recovery tights. I felt that they were really good just to help all your abdominal muscles together and support your back. I had a lot of swelling as well, so that helped get rid of that. I didn't wear them for the first 2 days because I had stitches, so it was a little bit painful to wear anything tight. But yeah, I wore them for around 5 days, and I highly recommend them for mums who, just need that extra support and want to strengthen their core. How did you feel when they told you you'd had a baby girl? This is so funny, but for some reason the entire time I thought I was having a boy, even though I didn't know the sex. So I just had people 24/7 telling me, based on the shape of my stomach or my size and whatever, that I was having a boy. So when they pulled her out and laid her on my chest, they asked if I wanted to know what I had, and I just thought I had a boy. And when my husband leaned over and said it's a girl, I was literally in a state of shock. I was bawling my eyes out. I held her so close to me. I know that regardless, I said I didn't care what I was gonna have, but deep down I really, really wanted a girl. So yeah, I was really excited and just so emotional. I was crying the whole time. I didn't want to let go, but they had to take her off me to wipe her down and weigh her and stuff. So it was just, yeah, the most emotional experience. Also, I would recommend those who want to find out or are contemplating whether or not to find out, each to their own, but I'm so glad that I didn't find out. It was probably the best thing I ever did, because that moment where they tell you what it is just the most amazing feeling in the world. It's nice to kind of keep it, a mystery until that last moment. How did you come up with your beautiful baby girl's name? Okay, so like I said, although I didn't know the sex, I was convinced I was having a boy, so I had 2 boys' names picked out the entire time. When she was born, she actually had no name for 2 or 3 days or something. And I felt so bad because everyone in the hospital kept asking what her name was, and I didn't want to rush, picking her name, but at the same time, I really just wanted to pick a name for her because she was just known as Lydia's baby.
It's actually so funny because when I hear you and your husband sit and talk about boy names, I just sit there and laugh wow, you guys have it so wrong. All you guys would talk about with boy names.
So it would have been nice if she kind of just hinted it, but whatever. Anyway.
It was more entertaining watching you go back and forward and waste your time.
Yeah. So my husband wanted something really meaningful. I wanted something unique. So I had picked out 2 random names, and we just couldn't pick between the 2, and none of them were really sticking. Every time I'd look at her, I just wouldn't think that it would suit her. So I don't know, then my husband came across the name Abigail, and I don't know, it stuck. It was very unique and something different, but at the same time it was timeless and classic. So it kind of took away from the other 2 names that I had, which were a little bit more of a funky, weird name. So I wanted something that was going to be a bit more true to her, and I think Abigail just is perfect for her. It also means father's joy, and I think that is so perfectly fitting to her because my husband was in absolute hysterics when she was born. What is your birth story? So this is a bit of a long story. A week prior to giving birth, I had a little bit of a situation which was extremely scary. Basically what happened was I woke up one morning and just a regular day. Nothing had been different throughout my week, so didn't expect anything unusual like this to occur. But I woke up and I had bleeding, and usually when you're that far into your pregnancy, to see blood is a very scary situation. So I automatically freaked out. I thought the worst. It's my first pregnancy. I've never been pregnant before. I've never had a baby before, so I've never experienced anything like this. My initial reaction was just to call my sister-in-law, and even she didn't know what to say. She just told me to call the doctor straight away. I called my doctor, and they just instructed me to go straight to the hospital in which I booked to give birth. Yeah, I was crying. I was just thinking the worst. I rang my husband. He was at work, so he, you know, just rushed over. At that point, my sister had gotten there so quickly that we just decided to leave and go straight to the hospital. You know, my doctor ended up meeting me there. Everything seemed fine. I know I didn't really share this on Instagram, but I was in hospital for 3 days. It's just scary when, you know, no one can explain what's going on. Even the doctors said that I was a little bit out of the ordinary and they didn't know what the issue was. So they just recommended for me to stay, just keep the baby monitored, and the baby seemed fine, thank God. Went home after 3 days and continued my week up until the baby was born. Very cautious. You know, my husband was very adamant that he didn't want me doing anything crazy or out of the ordinary, because you just don't know in that situation. You don't know what you could have done to bring that on or whatever. So yeah, I went home. A week later, I actually had a wedding, which I wasn't going to go to because I had an excruciating and painful migraine that day. But I ended up going anyway. And at around midnight, I got home with my husband. And as I was walking up my driveway, I saw a massive spider on the wall. All my friends know that I have arachnophobia, which is a fear of spiders, and I was absolutely mortified, and I ran up the driveway screaming like a psycho. And the second I stepped into my house, my water broke. And at that point, I didn't think that my water had broken, because it was the same feeling that I got the week prior when I had the blood. I freaked out, of course. I ran straight to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, saw that there wasn't much blood at all, and it was my water. I was really, really excited. I was confused because it was 3 weeks prior to my due date, so I was a bit shocked that that was happening. I called my sister Nicole. She rushed over. I also let the rest of the family know. They all instructed me to go straight to the hospital, so I called the hospital and they told me to come straight in. My contractions hadn't started yet, so I wasn't panicked and I was very relaxed, which now being told to go straight to the hospital, I actually took my time. I had a shower. My hospital bag wasn't even packed. Luckily, Nicole came over because she helped pack the bag straight away. I actually did a bit of washing as well. And yeah, didn't get to the hospital till around an hour later. And I remember the nurse asking where I was and why I took my time. So yeah, looking back, I probably should have went straight away, but my contractions hadn't started until the day after. So I got there on the Saturday at midnight and my contractions started on Sunday at midnight. So I ended up giving birth on Monday at 10:30 in the morning. It was the most amazing experience I have ever been through.
So I have just sped to Lydia's house because her water just broke.
Yeah, we're just so unorganized.
Like for someone that just had their water.
Well, contractions haven't started, so I mean, well, yeah, my water's still broken.
Oh shit. How are you feeling?
I have the biggest migraine, but other than that, I'm totally fine.
What time is it right now?
It is, I think it's in the microwave.
It is 12:30 a.m. I was literally about to fall asleep and then I had a phone call from Lydia and she woke me up. Okay. Wow, I need to literally pack your bag right now. Okay. Toothbrush, got some makeup wipes, cleansers. Okay.
This is going to be absolutely amazing. Can't wait. I don't understand how you're like acting normal right now because I'm panicking.
Why are you panicking? Give me a kiss. Oh, wish me luck. This baby's coming.
So while Lydia's water is broken in this car right now, her husband has stopped to fill petrol. Like we're not in a rush at all. Are you Snapchatting?
Yeah.
She's taking selfies!
Guys,
Hun!
broke.
What the fuck? So, this is a bit, scary. It's a bit dead. Huh?
A lot of my friends recommended to just go straight for the epidural, and I was very freaked out because I wasn't sure whether or not I should, and I wasn't sure if I could handle the pain or not. So I did ask for the epidural, but a funny thing happened and the epidural actually didn't work on the entire left side of my body. It actually only made my right leg numb. For those that don't know, an epidural is basically an injection that you get, and it basically paralyzes you from like the waist down, so you don't feel anything. But in my case, I pretty much felt everything except for my right leg. And looking back, I probably wouldn't get the epidural again in future, only because although I could feel pain of the pushing and the contraction, it was better because I could feel where to like push and how to control, myself in that situation. So having a right dead leg was a bit annoying. My doctor was actually overseas at the time, so I had an alternative doctor come and deliver her. After 2 hours of pushing, the doctor came in and told me to just stop pushing because my pelvic bone was in the way of her head, so it was a bit hard for her to come out with just pushing. They decided that she needed to be vacuum suctioned out. So yeah, they suctioned her out. I got a few stitches. It was actually not as painful as I thought it was going to be. Like, don't get me wrong, it's painful, but it wasn't as bad as what I thought a lot of people make out to be. So I don't know if I just got lucky this time around, but I would definitely do it again, and it was the most amazing experience I've ever been through. So yeah, hat off to all the mums that give birth without epidural, because it's hard work, but I think it's totally worth it. Did you have to wait 6 weeks to work out? So because I didn't have a cesarean and I only had a few stitches, the recovery after my labour wasn't too bad. And my doctor said that once my stitches healed, I was able to get back into light exercise. So yeah. You don't see much of your daughter. Where is she? Who looks after her when you're not around? So I'm pretty much with my daughter all the time. I don't think I've ever left her unless I've gone to the supermarket for 10 minutes. She's actually in the next room with my husband having a nap right now. We basically share our time wisely. So if I want to go and have a quick exercise outside, he'll sit with her, and then vice versa, we'll swap over. But we don't have any other babysitters or nannies looking after her. It's just us. How did you manage being cut down there? I didn't expect to have any stitches or be cut down there, so I wasn't really prepared for it. But I have to say, my doctor did a really good job because he cut me, I didn't tear. And, because I had a little bit of the epidural still in my system, I didn't feel when I was getting the stitches, thank God. I just had a lot of saltwater baths, basically. And it healed in no time, so don't stress. What are some baby product recommendations, i.e. prams, bottles, and is the Medela milk pump worth it? Okay, so I can see here and list 1,000,001 products, but I have to say my top 5 would be this Medela breast pump, which I live for. I actually purchased this while I was staying in hospital. I really, really wanted to be able to produce as much colostrum and milk as I could. Another product I would recommend is a wet wipes warmer. My baby hated getting her nappy changed, and I found out it was because she just hated the fact that the wipes that I was using were cold. And when I invested in this wet wipes warmer, and it basically keeps the wipes warm, I used that and now I have absolutely no issues. So another must-have I would recommend is the Arlo baby monitor. So this is basically connected to my phone, and I can monitor her 24/7 even when I'm not in the house. It's really cool because I can actually pre-record my voice and play it through my phone and play music. It's got like a little light that you can switch on and
Show them how
off.
cute it is.
It's actually the cutest thing ever. I'll show you what it looks like. It's just this little thing over here. I think they've got different heads that you can stick on, but this was just the standard one that came with it. Yeah, so you can like turn this little light on at the back. It's not plugged in, of course, but it just kind of like lets off all these different colorful lights and sets the ambience for her in the room. It plays music, and it also tells you the temperature and humidity of the room, and it also tells you if it's not a desirable temperature. So it's pretty nifty, and I definitely recommend it. Another product I would recommend is the Snoo. So one of my friends told me about the Snoo. It's basically a bassinet or cot, I would say. It's really cool because it's got like a swaddle that is attached to the base, and basically you just put the baby in, you zip them up, and if they're really unsettled, you can just switch it on and it gives you this rocking motion and plays white noise. And yeah, it's just really soothing. I try not to turn it on because I don't want her to rely on hearing that or feeling that motion all the time to put her to bed, but if she's really unsettled, I will turn it off. And you can switch it on and off through your phone via Bluetooth. And the 5th product that I would highly recommend is the Jeremy Scott Pram. I love fashionable looking items, and the Jeremy Scott Pram is definitely a pram that stands out. I've had so many compliments on it, and not just that, it's the easiest pram to use. I've got a few other prams, but this pram in particular is really simple and easy to open up and close, and it's quite light. Did you work out in the last 2 months when you were pregnant? So I didn't do anything too strenuous in the gym. I did remain quite active. I never really sat down, just did nothing. Although you do get a lot more tired and puffed out at the end of your pregnancy. I don't know, for some reason I still had a lot of energy, so I wasn't able to just sit down and do nothing. I did want to get in the gym and, stay fit, but I didn't do anything too crazy. What has been the hardest thing you've had to go through during and after your pregnancy? So the hardest thing I would say I had to go through during my pregnancy would be just the overall adjustment to my lifestyle. Being so hard to fall pregnant, I was very cautious with foods that I was consuming and just working out in general. So, always being on edge, just being a bit, cautious with looking after myself throughout my pregnancy would probably be the hardest. And also the fact that I had a little bit of a scare. So that was probably the hardest experience that I went through. After the baby, I would definitely say lack of sleep. So I'm used to sleeping, my good 8 hours a night, and now I'm lucky if I get close to 2 or 3 hours of sleep straight a night. So that's definitely probably been the hardest after the baby, but it's all worth it, so I can't complain. Who was in the labor room and how long did your labor go for? So in the labor room was literally just me and my husband, and of course the midwife was pretty much with me throughout the whole duration of the labor, and then right at the end the doctor came in, so there was like 4 of us all up in there, and my labor altogether from contractions to giving birth went for about 10.5 hours. How do you feel about being a mom and having this little human around? So as you all know, I've wanted to have a baby for what seems like forever now, and to finally be able to have a little human that is the creation from myself and my husband is the most rewarding and amazing feeling ever. And I know it sounds so stereotypical, and my mom used to always say, you won't know how it feels until you have your own, but I definitely understand what she was talking about, because it is the most amazing feeling in the world. And my house now is officially a home. It feels so full, and my heart is so full, and yeah, it's just the most amazing feeling. I have so much love for her, and I can't imagine what my life would be like without her. I don't even know what I was doing in my life prior to her being in my life. So it's the most amazing feeling. Yeah, can't tell you enough. My husband and I have been trying for a baby, and nothing has been happening for the past couple of months. I've become really emotional about the topic and the whole process. How did you cope with the struggle of falling pregnant? And do you look back now and change the way you went about the whole thing? So what worked for me personally was just not stressing about it. I literally was trying for so long, and I know how hard it can be on your body and your mind when you overly think it and stress about it and put it on a schedule. It's not going to happen because you're so stressed out and you're over planning it. The best thing that I did was just relax and not thought about it, and that's literally when it happened. Of course, go and get yourselves checked. Make sure that there's no other, outside issues, because unfortunately, a lot of people do continue trying and they don't get themselves checked out. So you want to rule out any other issues or problems that you might have or might be preventing you from falling pregnant. And yeah, after that, really just enjoy the whole baby making experience. Do you miss your baby bump? Yes, I do. I was actually just discussing this with my husband today. I miss having my baby bump so much. So I always look at photos and reminisce on that little bump. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to experience pregnancy again. So yeah. What is your favorite ab exercise to do to lose your post-baby belly? And did you get any stretch marks on your belly? So my all-time favorite ab exercise would be just your basic crunches. They're the most effective for me, and I do them as much as I can throughout the day when I have some spare time. So I find that they're just the most effective, and it's something that I've always done even before falling pregnant. So love crunches. I didn't get any stretch marks on my belly, and I don't know if that was genetics, because I wasn't religiously using bio oil. You would have seen in my last Q&A that I mentioned I was using bio oil, but I didn't get any stretch marks.
The girl's waking up.
Alright guys, and this calls for a break because Abigail's due for a feed, so I'll be back. Alright guys, we're going to have to wrap up today's Q&A. I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to send any other questions you have in the comments below. Bye guys.